County Executive of St. Louis County, Steve Stenger. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, McGraw. I could say a few things if you'd like me to. I'm just kidding.
No, that's all right. We've got other things to talk about this morning. All right, so what happened yesterday? Well, tell us about this news conference.
So Better Together released a report, and that report highlights basically what amounts to duplicative spending in our region. And it from the report, and I think the report is well sourced. It's basically a calculation of services that we provide compared with other regions throughout the country. We spend, as a region, about $750 million to $1 billion more than our peers are spending for delivering the same services. So we have, as far as the region is concerned, a very expensive way of providing basic services to our population, to our residents, to our taxpayers.
What was the stat of 100 tax increases over the last number of years?
Over the last 3 years, we've had 100 tax increases in the region, and that is largely due to the fact that we have hundreds of taxing jurisdictions, each of which are able to put a tax measure on the ballot in a particular year. In some years we have, as you can imagine, with that amount, we've had numerous tax increases each year,
right,
through all, across all of those jurisdictions.
Our revenue or our taxing is going up. Our population is going down. The exact opposite of other places in the country.
That's exactly right. And part of the announcement yesterday was that Better Together is establishing a task force of 3 individuals, and those individuals are going to be studying this issue. They're going to look at it from top to bottom, and they're going to come forward with some recommendations. And those recommendations are, I think they're very much worthy of review and analysis by all of us. And particularly, I think the mayor and myself are going to take a deep dive into those numbers. We're both accountants, which is nice, and we're going to take a deep look into those and make some determinations on what we think we could do to save some money for the region. And I know I do, and I think the mayor does as well. We want to hear the public weigh in on this as well when this report comes out. So I would expect some town hall meetings and some public input.
There are certainly some people who get a little dicey when you talk about police or fire, or worry about, hey, wait a minute, if my fire department goes away, will the firemen be there if my house catches on fire? Which is certainly understandable. But what I don't understand is like trash pickup and cleaning the streets and things like that I don't really care who cleans my streets or who picks up my garbage. Why has that been so difficult to sort of deal with over the years here?
Well, and that's what I was going to say as you were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you. Even trash service is something that people feel very strongly about, and they feel a personal connection in many cases to who their trash hauler might be. And I understand that, and I sort of worked through that in South County before I became a councilman. There was a trash program that was instituted. Many in South County were unhappy with that trash program. Not something that I instituted, but I did have to deal with the aftermath of it, and we did. And as it turns out, people do have an affinity with their trash hauler, and basic services in many cases are go this way. So it's going to be really important to get public input and get a feel for what people want to do and how they want to go forward with cost-cutting measures across the region. I'm certainly not looking to take away anything that's dear to someone. And I would really like to have that public input so we know, not to step on certain things. But we do need to do something because we are spending $750 million more than our peers. That really, really hurts us when we're trying to be competitive with other regions. And we need to do something about it. And I think that this task force is a really good start in taking a step in that direction to make some changes that we really need to make.
Steve Stenger, St. Louis County Executive. The 100 tax increases over the last 3 years, it's pretty eye-opening. But each one of those 100 tax increases were a vote of the people that the people voted for. So the question is, aren't we living in a governmental structure that the people want?
Well, this is sort of the way I look at it. we're going to find that out as we move through this process, because I think, as I said, there's going to be a great deal of public input, and people are going to be able to weigh in on what it is that they're looking for and what they want. But I think much of this happens because you have a municipality over here who has a tax increase, and unbeknownst to the person 2 municipalities away, they're not aware of that tax increase, and they're of course going to go spend in that jurisdiction, and the tax rate has just bumped up in that in the jurisdiction, the original jurisdiction that I was talking about. Taxes bumped up there. They were unaware of it. So I think there really is an awareness issue from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. I think that's one piece of it, and we just have so many jurisdictions that it just adds up. And it's for different, it's for different things. In some cases it's school, in some cases it's fire, in some cases it could be, some other basic service.
You're on the front lines talking to businesses every day about growing here, about moving here, about expanding here. How much of our governmental structure gets in the way of that for business?
Well, it gets in the way of businesses coming here because in many cases there is a lack of uniformity among our various jurisdictions. If you go to one jurisdiction, they have, a particular zoning that would allow X. You go to another jurisdiction, they have a zoning that would allow Y. There's a different permitting process in jurisdiction T. There's a different permitting process in jurisdiction B. So we have this patchwork of laws that businesses have to comply with. And I think that, when you come to a city or you come to a region, you're really looking for some type of a uniformity and something that you can basically rely on as you move forward in business. And this region certainly lacks that. So that's another thing we probably need to talk about. Are there uniform codes that we could have? Are there, all of these various things are things that I think are going to come out in this study, and they're going to be discussion points. I think, it's certainly something that we can only benefit by having that data and information. And I think it's important to have it. Reducing those costs, when you think about reducing those expenditures, they can either be returned back to people, or people can choose to say, hey, we would like, better fire service here, or we would like, better school service here. I mean, there's various things that the money could be used for, or it could be returned to the people.
How long is this task force going to be in effect for? When do they return with a report?
You'd probably have to talk to the folks at Better Together about that. But I would anticipate that it's at least going to take them at least a year. I mean, they have reams of data to work through. They have, basically 90 jurisdictions, well, more than 90 jurisdictions, 90 municipalities in St. Louis County alone to work through. And they have, other taxing jurisdictions as well to work through. So, I mean, it's quite literally hundreds of taxing jurisdictions. So it's going to take some time. They're 3 very capable individuals, and I think that they're doing a great service to our community, and I commend them.
Steve Stenger, St. Louis County Executive. You're always welcome here, Mr. Stenger. Thanks for checking in.
I really appreciate it, McGraw. Thanks a lot.
You got it. 7:57.